r/ask Reddit. Who was the worst guest that stayed at your house? Without a doubt, hands down, the friend whose family came up to my lake house for a week. Her 10-year-old had a bedwetting problem. Understandably, no one wants to talk about that, except when it's time to change the sheets when the guests are gone. OMG, I had to throw out a brand new mattress. As someone who grew up with a cottage, and many guests coming up, we have mattress protectors on all of the beds, bedwetters, drink spillers, food in bed eaters, etc. As for our worst guest, our family friend's son, 20 years old, had a habit of eating an apple before bed every night. But every night, he took that apple into bed, ate it, and left the core down the side of the bed. After having them up for a week, we discovered a stash of apple cores shoved down the side of the bed. It would have been so ducking easy just to throw them out. My partner at the time's brother spent the whole week trying to walk in on me changing in the shower. That sounds like some Michael Kelso tactics. Did you tell your partner? What happened when you did? Yeah, I said it was way too many times to be an accident, and I'd told him twice he needed to learn how to knock, so I went and stayed with a friend for the last couple of days. Your boyfriend should have done something about it then and there, but leaving is also a better option than dealing with a creep. My mom was my worst guest ever. We moved her because she lost her job and was staying with random people. She never offered to help with anything. Left my house a pigsty at all times. When she would get her unemployment, she'd buy herself the most random crap. Stayed up all hours of the night and got incredibly shitty in the morning if my young children would wake her up, and would purposely get in awful fights with my husband because she hated him and didn't want me married to him. I asked her if she would watch my children so I could go back to work to help support her, and she freaked out that I wasn't planning on paying her to babysit. After 2 years, I really tried to ignore it and continue helping. We had to kick her out. I think your husband is a son. Yeah, to put up with that for 2 years and not kill her. That's amazing. My sister was supposed to stay just the weekend to help after my hysterectomy. I had to kick her out after 3 months because it became painfully obvious she relapsed. Drugs. The last straw was when she became upset with me, and knowing that I'm allergic to perfume, she went through the entire house, spraying her perfume. I had to stay away from my own house for 24 hours. My poor husband and children. I've known quite a few junkies, but this thread is starting to make me think they all love perfume and I never noticed. It hides the stench of deep shame. My best mate was hooking up with the new barmaid at our local, and she got horrendously wrecked on booze and cocaine at a post-pub party at my parents' house. For some reason she decided to grab a kitchen knife and slit her wrist. In the ensuing struggle to wrestle the knife from her hand as she went to slash her other wrist, she managed to place her arm against the wall, leaving a nice blood smudge right there in the kitchen. We then kicked her out, and she gave me and my girlfriend at the time a load of shit on Facebook for being unreasonable. Believe it or not, my mate ended up dating her for about 2 years and she continued to be an absolute train wreck. When he finally got rid of her from his life, it was a really joyous moment for me and the rest of our friendship cycle. The last I heard of her, she unexpectedly inherited a few £1,000,000 from her father, who she hadn't seen since she was about 2 years old, and she's now living a few hundred miles away breeding horses. So as for worst house guest, it's either her or the dude who pissed in my kettle and then boiled it. Horses. Oh, I get it now. That kind of crazy. My sister-in-law, a couple months before my wedding. She was controlling everything. From the food we eat to the way I should place things in my wallet. I freaked my shit when she started making a list of my family members and who should be invited or not. Added detail. Her other sister, a week before our wedding, told me all men cheat. Oh man. This guy I was friends with in college invited himself to my parents' place in the summer when I went to go house sit, about 2 hours away. Very braggadocious, loud and annoying, but I didn't think it would be that bad. A short list of things he was able to do in 3 days. Talk about how much he hustles and how much money he has and how great of a time we're going to have. Proceeds to bring 1/4 of a 26-ounce bottle of Patron and a gram of bud, then leeches off everyone else for the remainder of the 3 days. Refusing to chip in because he already pitched. Accused my brother of stealing his hat. My brother's head was nowhere near his size, nor would he wear a flat bill camo J's cap. He went on about it for 2 days. Hit on every girl I had over, aggressively, to the point they all asked me to keep him away. He then invited over a 40-year-old woman and banged her behind a group of trees in my backyard. Lit a blunt he didn't roll or contribute to in the hallway of my parents' house the morning of them coming back. We had it ready for after cleaning and he just walked into the house, sparked it and looked shocked when we screamed at him to put it out. Refused to help clean before my parents got back. He hid in the bathroom or backyard for the entire 2 hours we all spent cleaning. When my parents did come home, he became this super fake polite person. My parents saw through his bullshit and knew right away this guy was a douche. He came with us to my hockey game that night and my parents said all he did was brag about how much the girls in the arena, all watching their boyfriends play, wanted him and he's doing those guys a favor by not hitting on them because those girls would be mine. When we were finally heading back, we blew a tire on the highway. Rather than help, he stood there and watched two of us do it. No offers of help, nothing. When we finally got the car back on the road, he complained that it took so long and wanted to stop for food. I'm a very patient man. At this point, I just wanted to get him out of the car and go home. We dropped him off at his house and he was delusional enough to think we all had a good time. He said thanks for an awesome time. When are we doing this again? I said never and we drove away. I've ignored him ever since. The dreaded mother-in-law. She stayed for the worst 6 months of my life and the only way we finally got her out included the psych ward. It was that bad. I was 18, living in my dad's house after he got married and moved in with his new wife. I invited a local friend to stay with me for a week, just to get out of her house. She invited another friend. No problem so far. However, I had leftover pizza in the fridge and came home one night after work looking forward to eating it. I opened the pizza box and not only was it gone, there was a used maxi pad in the box. I'm guessing they both worked on this one. One put the pad in the pizza box thinking the box was trash after finishing the last piece. The other thought there was still pizza left in the box so she put it back in the fridge. Ex-buddy calls me up and asks if he can stay for a few. I say sure thing. We go way back. End of the second week. I ain't been able to get with my lady for this whole time. I ask him when he's leaving. He said maybe next week. I got something on the line. End of week 4. I tell him he's gotta go. I says tomorrow is it? He shows up with a new sob story about his girl that he were gonna leave with just told him there's another man. I says too bad. Still gotta go. During week 3 he has the nerve to ask me if my lady would be down for a 3-way with him and me. Haha, me. I was 18. Had the most drunken night of my life, 1.5 liters of vodka plus other substances. Slept on my best mate's floor. In the morning I got up and needed to be sick right away. Barged into the bathroom and threw up my entire body weight in the toilet. Not so bad. Turn around to see his mum in the bath with candles having a nice morning relax. I was horrified. She was more horrified. My mate was on the floor in tears laughing. Had a great relationship with them both so was allowed back after profuse apologies. Quit drinking though. Back when I quite young, maybe 10 or 11, I had some dope Pokemon cards that I love to collect. My birthday rolls around so I invite all my bros and we have a great time. We play Pokemon for a bit then head out to do some other activities. The party ends and I go back to my collection only to find some of better cards gone. Some Methodict stole my best cards before we left. What kind of monster does shit like that? Not me, but my brother once woke up to find a homeless man sleeping by the radiator in his kitchen. He said he was trying to be charitable at first and attempted to give the man food and some hot coffee, but when he woke him up, the dude flipped out and attacked him with a butter knife. He also had taken a shit in the sink, it turns out. Don't do drugs, kids. My friend was sleeping on a mattress on the floor in my spare room after a night out. She needed to be sick and just literally rolled on her side and spewed everywhere, then rolled back over and went to sleep. I had to clean up around her. There was a lot of unchewed fries and the hue was that of a considerable consumption of red wine. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.